risen quite a bit. And so now all I'm going to do is just take it and try and get it out of there. There we go. Okay, so all I'm going to do is just punch out the air here. And as you can see, I've floured my surface. And I'm just going to flatten it out with my hand, and then I'll use my rolling pin. I'm going to try and keep it into a square shape, yeah? So it's nice and even as you're flattening that out, and I'm just going to lift it so it doesn't stick to the bottom. Okay, there we go. I'm just flouring my hands as I go. And the next thing I'll do is I'll just roll it out now. So as you can see, this is quite easy. So what I'm aiming for is quite an even dough. So you just have to kind of make it work for you. Okay, so I can see that I've got a little bit missing here, so what I'm going to do, probably just won't use that. There we go, and make it nice and even. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm just going to try and make it as even as possible by just cutting off those excess bits. Alright, so I'm happy with that. Now the next step is to place the butter and spread the butter. And I'm just using a palette knife. I'm just going to spread that evenly. So that's the butter we had that was at room temperature. Yes, lather it on. So we're just going to leave a little bit off the side as we're going to have to kind of mend it together. Alright, so we're going to take that right to the end there. And just try and make it as even as possible. So I haven't even used all that butter there. Okay, I'm happy with that. Okay, so the next thing, that mixture we had, we're going to now sprinkle it over. So you want to be quite generous with this. And again, you probably may not use all of it. Doesn't matter if it goes on the counter. You can clean that up later. So it needs a little bit more here. And that's really it. Now, I did say I'm going to add some walnuts. So what I'm going to do is I'm only going to do half. I'm going to say that's about half. And I'm just going to add the walnuts to here. Okay, now I'm just going to get a little bit of water. Just to prepare for now that we're going to roll it together. Okay, so let's start from this side, and we're going to just put a little bit of water. As you can see, I'm just putting it in a bowl. And it's just really only needs just a little bit so it can just stick to the other side. Okay, so all I'm doing is just lifting and rolling. Lifting and rolling. I'm trying to do this as evenly as possible and try and keep it tight as you're rolling it out. It's getting a bit bulky here because of the nuts, so you'll just have to just keep an eye on that. Now, as I come to the end here, I'm going to put another little bit of water here, just to help the dough stick to the other side. Okay. Okay, so there you go. Now we need to cut this, and as a matter of fact, I'm just going to bring over the grease tray over here, and I normally just cut off the end bits, just so we're nice and even. Okay, so then I think that's about where the nuts were. Yeah, okay, and then we want to sort of cut 2 centimeter sort of rolls, and that's about 2 fingers. I'm just going to take a little bit of flour and just flour up my knife, only because it's been going through the butter there, and it just makes it a little bit easier to run through. Okay, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. All right. So now what we do is we're just going to pop them in the tray. And in fact, I'm just going to turn them on the side so they all fit. I'll put the cinnamon ones on one side and the cinnamon and walnuts on the other side. And I've already turned up my oven, so to 180 degrees, and they're going to sit in the oven for about half an hour. As you can see, that's what they look like there. And I'm just going to put in these end bits just to fill up my tray. You don't have to. Okay, so the next part, we take our melted butter and we're just going to baste it literally on top. The smell of these are just incredible at the moment. So if you do this properly, as in adding all the butter on, you really should only be left with about that much. But you want all the butter sort of pouring, oozing all over it. Okay, so the next thing we're going to do now is we're going to cover this again and let them rise for at least another 40 minutes to an hour until they're almost doubled in size. So we'll just cover that up, and again we're going to put it into that warm place that we had originally. Okay.